Hello, it's Jimmy the Traveller here. I was going to tell you an old traveller's story that happened many years ago. It was about a mother and son and a brother and sister who was on the road with a donkey. They had nowhere to go, and they had all their belongings packed on this donkey on two which we call seconds, a bag at each side across the donkey's back. And the old traveller woman, the mother of the kids, she says to her man, I think we'll have to try and get lodgings for a night because the kids are tired, the donkey's tired, we're tired ourselves, and we need a cup of tea. So they came to this farm road end, and here goes, he says, I'm going down here for a night and I'm going to ask for some lodgings. They say if they'll let us stay for a night. So away they went down to this farm. And on the road going down were several gates that they had to open to get through to get to the farm, a rough road. So they landed down at the farm, knocked on the door, and it was a maid that came out. This were maids in these days. And she says, what can I do? Can I help you? Oh, she says, the traveller woman, she says, look, me and my husband, she said, and my 3 kids, she says, we're stranded on the road, nowhere to go, and it's too late to put a tent up. They had their tent, but they didn't have the saplings cut for to put the boat tent up with. So she says, she told us to the maid, and the maid says, oh, come away in, she said, would you like a bowl of tea? So I took her in and gave the man a cup of tea, and as the woman was dishing out the tea, the traveller woman, she looked about her and she got suspicious. She didn't like the look of the place. So, but whenever her man got this bowl of tea, yellow sweet tea, he took a good drink of it because he was needing it. And the man drank it down, the woman's husband. So the woman never touched her tea. She got a cup of tea as well, but she never touched her tea. And the kids never got any tea. So, but the man, he drank his tea right down in the winter. He was supposed to get the heat through him. He was cold and he was tired. So, oh, just like that, their man fell asleep with the heat of the farmhouse. And the woman says, we'll have to tell the woman, knew there was something wrong. The traveller woman knew there was something wrong because her husband never fell asleep with her before. She says, oh, what's wrong? My husband says, I'm going to try and get him to his bed. Oh, no, the maid says, just leave him there, she says, and we'll take you round to the barn, she says, and we'll show you a good shed, a good bed in the barn, she said. And she took one of the old, which we call a storm lamp. It was an oil lamp. She lit it and took it round to the hay shed, the barn. Now she says, you can make a bed in there for you and the kids, she says, and your husband will be around later. We'll get him up, she said. But the woman went back round to the house, and well, the maid was in the other room. She had a skiver, which we call a skiver, which was a shoulder pin, and she took it from her shawl, and she jabbed her husband with it to see if she could wake him up, but no, he was gone, dead, and she knew that. So she says, go back round to the shed, and now she says to her kids, look, she says, we'll have to try and get away from here fast, she said, because that's not good people in that farm. And she says, they've killed your dad, so come on, we'll have to try and get away. So the woman waited till the maid went back round to the farmhouse, and she sneaked back out again, grabbed the wee donkey, and went up this road, back up to try to get to the top of the main road again. And up at the top of the main road, there were which we call a gatehouse, a small house at the end of the road. Sorry. And she knocked on the door. They got up, went to the gatehouse. So the woman travelling woman knocked on the door and she says, look, she says, something's happened to my husband down in the farm down there, she said. And she says, I think he's dead. So she says, I wonder, could you maybe help us? And this man in the gatehouse, he had 2 or 3 kids himself and his wife. So, oh, he says, come on in, he says, because we know a lot about that farm down there. So the woman went in, and the people made her a cup of tea, the man's wife made her a cup of tea, and her kids played with her kids, and he made them bed for the night. And now he says, we'll sit up. We'll not lie down, he says, we'll sit up and watch through the window. Keep every light out, he says, and I'll bet you £1 to a penny, he says, that there'll be a coach coming from Edinburgh to pick the body up. Oh, but an hour went past. The next thing was a coach. Squeak, squeak, squeak. All you could hear is the squeak of the harness, and it had pads on its feet so it didn't make a noise. It was squeaking off this coach coming down the farm road. Away it was down the farm for about maybe 3/4 of an hour. And then he come back up. Then the man says, the man of the gatehouse says, I've got a double barrel shotgun, he says, in the house here, he says. So I'm going to load it, he says, and I'm going to sit at the window, he says, until it comes back up. And he says, I'm going to blow the brains out of the 2 drivers that's on that coach. He says, because we've noticed that coach going down there. We've noticed a lot of people going down to that farm, but they've never ever come back up. That is the name of the story, the people that went down and never came up. And so they waited until the coach came up. And as soon as they heard the squeak and come back up again, the man opened his window just slightly. And whenever the coach drew level, the man pulled the trigger and blasted the 2 men that was driving the coach. And one got wounded, he ran away. And the other one, he died, he was shot. And the man and the woman and his wife went out to the coach and said, I bet you your husband's body is in this coach somewhere. So they went round the back of the coach, and there's a square bit at the back, just like a coffin, and pulled the lid up, and here was the man lying there. So the one that got away, I think, got 10 years in prison, the coachman. The people of the farm, they got years in jail. But that's what they were doing. They were taking old tramp men down from the main road, out to the farm. Anybody went out to the farm, they were drugging them, killing them, and selling their bodies for £5 each. And that was not so long ago, that was about the 1800s. That is a true story, come from a traveller. It happened to a traveller man and woman in real life. That been handed down through many a generation of travellers. Okay, so I've got more and more stories to tell if you keep your eye open for me. Okay, see you later.